Hi, I'm Diana, Editor-in-Chief of Fox Media Group and family of website. So tonight's webisode of Dominating the Democrats, my new show, we're going to talk about Amnesty's push to decriminalize pimps and johns under the guise of the Nordic model. By the way, you can find me on Twitter at Pimpin'Politics, and I started this website and group of social media accounts in 2012 after my research led me to the Democrats as being the prime group who is supporting the Los Angeles porn industry and the pimps that run their illegal sex trafficking ring. You have to go look at my websites. Porninthevalley.com is where all my information on the porn industry is. And basically it is a front for illegal international sex trafficking. It's come out recently that Hillary Clinton is very closely connected to a man by the name of George Soros.
Our country needs us, and we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts.
He was born in Budapest, Hungary on August 12, 1930, as George Schwartz, the son of Orthodox Jews.
It was actually probably the happiest year of my life, that year of German occupation. For me, it was a very positive experience. It's a strange thing, you know, because you see incredible suffering around you. It's a very happy-making, exhilarating experience.
So what is his target now? Us, America.
He said it himself on many occasions. He said, what I have done in other countries in terms of overturning bad governments, I'm going to do in this country.
In one of his books, Soros writes, quote, "The main obstacle to a stable and just world order is the United States."
Our country needs us, and we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts.
We're going to talk about that tonight. So basically, Amnesty International, they're a human rights organization. They're like the oldest human rights organization, very large, worldwide, international organization. Last year, they came out saying that they wanted to decriminalize sex work. That's what I want to talk about, is the fact that what they're doing out on social media, I have found, is they're running a con. And they're confusing the issues of the Nordic model, which decriminalizes prostitution, the prostituted person, decriminalizes them, and it gives stronger penalties for the men who buy sex, which is the john, or like over in Europe they call them punters. So we have the johns or the punters who Amnesty wants to give a human right for them to be able to purchase, rent, pay for another human being's body parts to use them for their sexual self-gratification. Amnesty also wants to give pimps a human right to be able to sell other humans. Now, this is against everything that every country who takes a stand for human rights is against. It's human trafficking. It's slavery. And Amnesty International, who is a human rights organization, they want to legalize the right to buy and sell human beings for sex slavery. That's right. We're here. And we're here tonight specifically because Hillary Clinton is a feminist. And she believes that you have a right to sell your own body. But prostitution, it's just another body parts business that the feminists are involved in. So recently it came out that George Soros, a very, very rich man, in fact, he happens to be one of the 30 richest men in the world, and he also happens to be a very close friend and advisor of both Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. So we know where a lot of this has been coming from over the last 8 years now. George Soros is putting his money behind Amnesty International and their battle to give pimps and johns a legal right to buy and sell human beings for sex slavery. So this is important to the U.S. right now, right here, because Hillary Clinton is running for president. And if she becomes president, there's a very good chance that she will help to legalize prostitution on a federal basis, which means all 50 states, they can buy and sell your daughters for sex. That's right. So just to give you a little information here, the Nordic model, they decriminalize those who are exploited through the sex industries and through prostitution. They criminalize the purchase of sex and the purchaser, the john, the punter, the buyer. And they support a system for those who have been exploited to find them help. They consider prostitution a form of violence against women and a consequence of gender inequality. Because, let's face it, women wouldn't go into prostitution if they had better career options. Now, the Democrats, they say, hey, prostitution, it's a great career choice. It's empowering for women. Well, no, it's not. When you have to take and hide all your feelings and all your emotions to play a role to satisfy a man and his sexual appetite, how can that possibly be empowering to women? So these things are important issues. And I felt that I needed to use my first webisode of Doming the Democrats to bring these truths to light. Amnesty is going around pretending that their plan is the same as the Nordic model. It's not anything like it. Basically, you'll find if you try to talk to someone who's online, who's from Amnesty or associated with Amnesty, and you're trying to have a discussion about decriminalizing prostitution and, what are the best options for it, you'll find that, first of all, they want to call them sex workers. They won't call them prostitutes. They don't want to call them victims, and they won't call them exploited. They will call them sex workers. They will call what they do sex work, not sex trafficking or commercial sexual exploitation, which is what it really is. So that's the first thing that you'll find. They'll talk about decriminalizing sex work and sex workers. Amnesty's approach is to, first of all, change pimps from pimps into sex workers. They want to make any person who works in a sex industry a sex worker, which includes your pimps and your recruiters. So Amnesty wants to decriminalize the pimp, change his title to a sex worker, and give him equal legal protection as the decriminalized prostitute. So laws made to protect the exploited would protect pimps, madams, recruiters, anyone who's involved in sexually exploiting the prostituted. So then they decriminalize the John, the purchaser, the buyer. They want to give them a human right to rent or buy human beings to use their body parts for sexual self-gratification. Seriously, they want to give them a human right to do this. Now, being able to rent people's body parts, human beings' body parts, this is a violation of everything that our society stands for. Because we don't need this. We don't need our daughters doing this. They're raping and torturing our daughters in the Los Angeles porn industry. And they want to legalize it all across the nation. They can legally bind your daughters in a sex slavery contract. They can force her to have sex with as many men as they say per day. They can force her to do acts that she doesn't want to do. This is what's coming, and George Soros is helping make it happen. The main push for legalizing prostitution worldwide is from the Global Network of Sex Work Projects. Their support was cited in the draft proposal. Known pimps were also cited. They are now saying that's not true, but it did come out. The vice president of the Global Network of Sex Work Projects was sentenced to 15 years in prison for sex trafficking. These are the people that are working with human rights activists from Amnesty International and George Soros to legalize sex trafficking worldwide. You need to take a real good look at the agenda George Soros and Hillary Clinton is pushing around the world and right here in America. And you'll see the agenda that Barack Obama has been working the last 8 years. As pimps and pornographers and sexual predators have taken over our country. You'll see exactly where Hillary Clinton is planning to take us. Follow the money and you'll always find the truth. Are you ready for your daughters to go off to work every day as a sex slave? To be used by some guy for his sexual fantasies? To be sexually, mentally, and physically abused as part of her job description? Are you really ready for that for your daughters? Are you ready to take sex trafficking out of the TVPA and give pimps complete legal immunity for the crimes they commit against humanity against our children, our women, and our men that they continue to exploit and extort. If Hillary Clinton becomes president of the United States, her motto for your daughters will be, America, the world's biggest brothel. Pimps and hoes, here we goes. On that note, we're going to close our first webisode of Donning the Democrats. We'll see you next time. Go out and vote. Vote your conscience. Amen. Good night.